And this is going to only get more and more intense, people. Yeah, it's going to get more intense because we're not through this Pluto in Capricorn, and the Saturn and the Jupiter coming through, and of course, what we're seeing too is by the next couple of weeks, Mars is also joining the fray here. On the 20th, it's conjunct Jupiter. Mars-Jupiter is this exaggerated action, yeah? Action that's coming from a self-righteous place, yeah? It's coming from I believe, or this is morally correct or ethically correct, yeah? And then, of course, the next conjunction here from Mars is with Pluto, just a couple of days later on the 23rd. So between the 20th and the 23rd, you've got, and also this little planetoid here, Pallas Athena. She's the goddess of strategy, war, and also being a patron of the arts. But she's basically, she thinks and strategizes in a very political, very socially community-oriented way. You've got that, you've got all this kind of the legal, the judiciary, and you've got this guy here who's basically Superman, wants everything and wants to control it all being triggered by this. Around the 22nd to the 23rd, 24th, that is a really damned intense time because, everything is basically exaggerated by times 1,000 by Jupiter. Yeah, so if you want to control things, well, Jupiter gives you some sort of moral high horse to do it with, yeah? And he gives you the legal infrastructure on how to do it. And she's also assisting in here by giving us really a date or a step-by-step strategy on how to roll it out. And of course, Mars, the reason he's the trigger is because he's the one down on the ground. He's the boots on the ground who's going to do the work, right? So whatever these guys are telling him, he's going to come out marching and roll out for us. And of course, depending on where you are in the scheme of things here, you're either going to feel aligned with this mission, if you're in the Capricorn or you're one of these earth signs, or you're going to feel, if you're like an Aries or Libra, you're going to feel really rather a sense of, kind of threatened or triggered by this stuff. Of course, too, if you're Cancer's copying all the heat at the moment because there's not really much here in Cancer but the North Node. And the North Node in Cancer all just wants to escape into the nature and just be with the family and enjoying one's life at home safely. But it's been bombarded by all this stuff that's going on outside our window, this pressure to kind of get it together, be something, do something responsible, manifest a better world for themselves. It's becoming quite a contentious issue, and we can't all get to the top of the tree. We can't all get to the top of that summit. In order for us to reach the top, we need to step on a few heads. And I think with Pluto going on there, Pluto's pretty ruthless. He doesn't care how he does it as long as he does it. And when Saturn and Jupiter and Mars and all these planets come along, they're basically giving Pluto the tools, the social tools, the credit, the social standing to do it, and with Jupiter, the laws and the infrastructure and all that stuff, and then throw in a pair of boots. Then by the time you get that Mars-Pluto conjunction around the 23rd, also happens to be very, very close to the equinox. Yeah, equinox is on the 21st of March. That is the start of a brand new year, and we're gonna have a look at that chart. Perhaps in an article, I'll sort of take it apart a little bit. But the equinox chart is the new year chart, what the next year is going to look like, and it looks pretty ferocious if you're going to look at it in a way which is trying to summarize the energies. Next 12 months is going to be pretty fierce, people. Not scary so much, because you don't need to engage with all that. We don't need to get all worked up about these things. But if you do engage, know that you'll be engaging on a very, on a frontline level, and it will be almost feeling like, that it's a war for survival. Yeah. Survival to get to the top. And, with Eris squaring all this, it can be, can feel like it's do or die. Yeah. So it's up to you and how you engage with that. I mean, me, I just like to sit back and observe. Lots of stuff is going to happen, and everybody's going to be scrambling for that peak on the top. Everybody's going to be scrambling for that last bit of beans on the supermarket shelf, yeah, and whatever. But in actual fact, are you going to play into that fear, or are you capable of elevating or raising yourself a little bit higher than the existential day-to-day resistance, knowing that at some point it's better to wait until that point where you find like-minded individuals and you can cooperate together to form the world that you want to form. Yeah, that's coming. Yeah, it's going to be a bit of an ordeal getting there.